Hello everyone, and welcome to the video portion of the end of June status update for Rings of Hell. The first thing I'd like to show you is the boss fight with Wrestle Satan. In this scene, Red and Blue's journey has brought them to their final match in Wrestle Hell against none other than the champion of Hell herself. Wrestle Satan is functionally the final boss in Rings of Hell, and is the last thing the player will do in the game before seeing the ending scenes and rolling credits. As the champion, she is the strongest, most durable, and conniving wrestler in all of Wrestle Hell. She specializes in punishing high damage moves that often strike all opposing wrestlers. Although she has rarely had to resort to it, it is well known that if she's pushed far enough into a corner, she'll do anything to win, including breaking the rules of combat to give herself an edge. The fight against Wrestle Satan is not like a standard match. Not only can she not be pinned, she also has multiple phases. In the first phase of the fight, Wrestle Satan demonstrates her power by using a powerful attack that hits both red and blue. She will also mix in traditional attacks that hit hard to inflict additional damage. My strategy for this phase will be to fill my hype meter as quickly as I can by using kicks and special items. This way I can perform more powerful moves against Wrestle Satan as soon as possible. As soon as Red's turn meter is filled, I have her use Kick. This will chip a bit of Wrestle Satan's damage away and build 15 hype for the hype meter. To compensate for her speed, as well as lack of adequate hype building skills, I'll have Blue use the Megaphone item to add 20 hype to the hype meter. Wrestle Satan uses Clap on both Red and Blue, a hard-hitting attack. However, I'm able to mitigate some of the damage by successfully blocking. The attack still deals a significant amount, but would be devastating without a block. Since I have a decent amount of hype, when it's Red's turn, I'll have her use Dizzy Punch to give Wrestle Satan the Dazed status effect. Dazed causes those afflicted by it to have their turn meter fill slower than normal. After Wrestle Satan loses a third of her health, the match enters its second phase. In this phase, she will start to resort to cheating, which in mechanical terms means she occasionally takes 2 turns back to back. Wrestle Satan immediately launches into her Stomp attack, which hits Red and Blue hard and also gives them the Burn effect. Burn is our status effect that will cause the inflicted wrestler to lose 1 health for every turn that they have it. Now that she's no longer playing by the rules, Wrestle Satan takes another action to heal herself before her turn is over. Red and Blue are both really hurting, so as soon as I can, I'll have Red use my only Chimichanga to heal both of them for 15 health. Now that I have most of my health back, I decide to take a risky move. I now have enough hype to perform a powerful tandem tag team move with Red and Blue. However, I don't accurately press all of the inputs, slightly reducing the power of the move. Wrestle Satan attacks Red, but I block successfully and mitigate some of the damage. When Red is ready, I try to build some hype back up by using a kick. Then, I have Blue use a clothesline to deal a bit of extra damage. Wrestle Satan uses her Clap, dealing a good amount of damage to Red and Blue. Now that Wrestle Satan has 2/3 of her health, she will enter her final phase. In this phase, she will gain access to her most powerful move, Chaos Wave. She starts the round off by healing herself, then attacks with Chaos Wave before ending her turn. Red just barely survives this attack, so as soon as Blue is ready, I have her heal Red with a Burrito. I have 1 Megaphone left, so I have Red use it to get a quick 20 hype for the hype meter. Wrestle Satan uses Chaos Wave on Blue, and she barely survives. Things are looking rough, so I have Blue use Grapple Punch on Wrestle Satan to inflict her with Grapple. Grapple causes the person afflicted to forfeit their turns, so long as they have the status effect. This is a powerful effect, especially against someone getting 2 actions per turn, so the Grapple Punch is a very hype-expensive move. Without much in the way of being able to heal myself from another series of attacks, my goal now is to try to finish Wrestle Satan off before she can act again. Wrestle Satan's health is low, and with 1 last hit, her defenses have finally been weakened to the point where Red and Blue can use their combined strength to defeat her. This requires a special thematic tandem move from Red and Blue. The final Headbutt becomes available, and Red and Blue can use it to finish off Wrestle Satan. Now, I'd like to demonstrate some of the enemy variants that we've designed and implemented into Rings of Hell. These are the different kind of enemies that you'll face on a regular basis throughout the game, and they all function differently. The first two I'd like to show you are the Brute and K-Omega. These wrestlers possess different abilities, but often appear together. The Brute has low defense, but high attack and high health, and is slow to act. On his own, Brute isn't much of a threat, as the best strategy against him is to simply do as much damage to him as you can before he can do any to you. He is often paired with nimbler yet weaker wrestlers to offset his slow speed. In this scenario, it can be advantageous to use skills or items that compound his slow speed to a crawl, such as Grapple or Dazed. That way the other wrestler can be dealt with before he is able to attack again. K-Omega's stats are middling. He isn't overly strong or overly fast. What makes him dangerous is that he will take any opportunity he can to pin red or blue. This can catch the player off guard if they're not paying attention and can result in a quick loss. This is especially true if red or blue took a lot of early damage beforehand. A good strategy for dealing with K-Omega is to take him out as quickly as you can. If possible, it is advised to try and slow down or tangle up as many of the other enemies as you can, then lay all of red and blue's attacks right into him. Next, we have the Luchador and the Jobber. The Luchador specializes in moves that do burn damage. Luchadors are fast, so while they don't hit hard, they do hit often. This combined with the fact that their moves can often cause burn can cause the effect to stack quickly if the player isn't careful. They're especially dangerous if the player lets fights drag on. Ironically, a great way to combat a Luchador is to inflict them with burn as well, since their health is already low but their defense is high. When burned, their speed backfires on them as well, since every time your turn comes up, that is when you take the burn damage. Jobbers are entry-level amateur wrestlers and are generally terrible due to their inexperience. In fact, they're so bad that every once in a while they do something that actually benefits their opponents. Jobbers will stick by stronger wrestlers to offset their weakness. In exchange for the other wrestlers' help, Jobbers do whatever they can to make the other wrestlers on their team look good. Jobbers' best use is that they take some of the attention away from other wrestlers, therefore it is generally advisable to ignore them when possible. That's all I want to talk about for enemy variants for now, as I want to move on to the equipment, skills, and items. In Rings of Hell, decisions made outside of the ring have just as much impact on winning as the decisions made inside of it. When not in matches, the player can assign and set equipment and skills that will help them in the ring through the equipment and skills menus. These menus are located within Red and Blue's health zones, along with the item menu where they can see what items they have stashed in their inventory. In the equipment menu, a player can attach different pieces of equipment to alter their stats, while in the skills menu, the player can select the different attacks and maneuvers that Red and Blue will bring into battle, which are limited to 4 each. Red and Blue can both equip one piece of headgear, one leotard, a belt, and a pair of boots. I'm going to start by assigning Red her equipment. I give Red the black belt. Since Red is the faster of the two, I'm going to use her to increase the height meter while I use Blue to deal damage. The black belt will make her even faster. Since she has lower health than Blue, I'll give her some steel helm to even them out. Since Blue is my damage dealer, I'll give her the Spartan helmet to further increase her attack power, and I'll give her the studded belt to boost her defense a bit. Moving on to skills, we'll start by giving Red the kick rather than a punch, as it gives more hype but deals less damage. Her second move is going to be Sparkly Kick. This move buffs the user with Sparkly, which is a status condition that raises the amount of hype that the wrestler receives from performing kicks and punches. Third, I will equip Dizzy Punch. Dizzy Punch is a low hype cost move that temporarily reduces the speed of which the inflicted wrestler's turn meter fills. Finally, I'm going to give her a pat on the back. This will allow her to give Blue the pumped up status effect, which will temporarily boost her attack power. As my damage dealer, Blue is going to get more damage focused moves. Even though a punch doesn't do a lot of damage, it's important that she has at least one move that can get hype so she can help gather hype when necessary. Next, I'm going to give her Grapple Punch. This is a helpful but high hype cost move that causes the grappled status effect. Her next move will be Clothesline. This is a single target move that does a ton of damage and can be helpful for knocking down an enemy's health low enough so that Red can pin them. The last move will be a tandem move. This move requires a lot of hype to perform, with the trade-off being that it does a lot of damage. According to the items menu, I currently have 5 burritos, 2 megaphones, and 1 chimichanga. Before the fight, I made sure I was able to get at least 1 chimichanga, which is a rare item that can heal Red and Blue at the same time. This is very helpful as it saves time and a turn for my team. I then get 2 megaphones. Megaphones give the player 20 hype each and are great right at the beginning of a match to help get the hype meter filled quickly and start strong. These are also helpful when you run out of hype and need some more immediately. Lastly, I used my leftover money and bought as many burritos as I could, which totaled to 5. Burritos are a low-cost healing item that restore 15 health to the user. Next, I'd like to show the tutorial. I won't stay on this long as it explains things we've already shown, but this segment is the first thing the player does in the game. Acting on feedback we received about confusion in how to play the game, conflicting controls, and the purpose of the hype system, this tutorial explains all of it in detail through a scripted fight with a coach imp giving the player pointers. In our second playtest, players got to play through this tutorial, and all of the newcomers said that this helped them understand the game better. Next, we're going to close out this video by first taking a look at the updated visuals of the hub, and then demonstrating a quest happening within it. In the interest of time, I won't show the quest playing out from start to finish as it is too big, and will summarize some parts as they're happening rather than showing the full events. Now, most of this video will be the player interacting with characters, and therefore there will be a lot of text on screen. As I said earlier, I'm going to be skipping most of it, so try not to pay too much attention to it whenever I'm talking over the video. This is the first quest of the game, meant to get the player accustomed to the exploration area and how the menus work. Red and Blue's new wrestling coach Phil wants them to get experience and earn enough credibility to do battle with the higher tier wrestlers in Wrestle Hell. His first order of business is to give them a rundown on how the menu system works. However, the menus are contained within the hell phones that the denizens of Wrestle Hell use, and Phil has not paid for his minutes. He asks the two to wait here and then runs off, asking them to stay put and not cause any trouble. So, as soon as Phil is gone, the pair decide to go do something else while they wait, because this is a game about wrestling, not standing. The chef of Spicy Hole asks them to go acquire his meat delivery, which has gone missing, and he suspects has been stolen. He points them to a nasty-looking imp he describes as the color of snot, who's at the amateur imp fight club across the street, and who turns out to be his niece who he's not fond of. Then, Red and Blue are directed to go speak to an imp at the clothing shop that sells equipment for all the wrestlers in Wrestle Hell. He tells them that the delivery was stolen by a wrestler duo that they can find at Inferno, a club nearby. When Red and Blue confront them, they refuse to give up the meat, and they have to fight them to get it back. At this point, Red and Blue have recovered the mystery meat, beat up strangers, and failed to do the one thing they were asked to do, which was not cause trouble. We're a little over halfway through the introductory quest, and I'll cut it here as it feels like as good a stopping point as any. We have been the usual suspects, showing the game Rings of Hell. Thank you very much.